Hey T-Squad, it's Kirsty, and we need to talk, because this one is wild. What if the show controlling half the internet isn't on TV, doesn't trend on TikTok, and has zero flashy edits, just 3-hour conversations and a man with a mic? Yeah. I'm talking about the Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast pulling in an estimated 11 million listeners per episode like it's nothing. This thing is topping charts worldwide and shaping conversations in a way legacy media wishes it still could. So how did a show with no script, no filter, and absolutely no rules become one of the most powerful platforms on the planet? Grab your tea because we're pulling this phenomenon apart. When the show first started years ago, it was nothing fancy, just two comedians chatting online. No fancy lighting, no big studio, no polished format. And now, it's one of the most talked about shows in the world. Rogan has spoken with scientists, comedians, athletes, actors, activists, and people from every corner of life. The range is huge, and the conversations are raw. But the real magic is how this unscripted, unpredictable format grew into something that feels bigger than traditional media itself. To understand why, we need to look at what makes the show tick. The first thing that sets the show apart is the length of the conversations. Everywhere else, media is chopped up into tiny clips. Interviews get sliced down. Everything is rushed. Rogan went the opposite direction. He let the conversations breathe. He gave guests time to open up, to explain, to wander a little, and people loved it. It feels like you're sitting in the room, hearing a real chat unfold at its own pace. That creates a kind of connection other formats just can't replicate. Another huge piece of the show's appeal is how unpolished it is. There's no script. There's no TV voice. There's no structure that forces the conversation into a box. It's completely organic, sometimes serious, sometimes chaotic, sometimes hilarious. And because of that, people trust it. Not because every opinion is perfect, but because it feels honest. It feels like you're hearing a real human conversation, not something manufactured in a boardroom. That kind of authenticity is rare, and the audience knows it. One of the show's biggest strengths is the guest list. One day it's a scientist, the next it's a comedian, the next it's someone with a story most people have never heard before. This mix keeps the show fresh and unpredictable. People tune in because they never know what they're going to learn. It's become a place where new ideas, new voices, and new perspectives get a massive spotlight. For many listeners, the show feels like a giant classroom, except it's actually fun. A big part of the show's rise is how perfectly it lined up with the way people consume media now. Podcasts became easier to access. Streaming became normal. People wanted something they could listen to while cleaning, driving, or relaxing. Rogan leaned into that. He uploaded full videos. He shared clips. He posted constantly. The show became part of people's daily routine, slipping into the background of their lives in the most natural way. It wasn't flashy, it was consistent. And that was enough to build a loyal global audience. Here's the part a lot of people don't want to admit. For many listeners, traditional media feels stiff, controlled, and out of touch. Rogan's show feels like the opposite. It feels open. It feels human. Guests can talk without time limits. Opinions can be explored instead of rushed. Ideas that rarely get airtime anywhere else get full conversations. That honesty, even when messy, makes the show feel more like a modern town square than a typical media platform. It's where people go to hear long, thoughtful discussions instead of polished sound bites. All right, T-Squad, it's your turn. Is this show the new global town square, or just a massively popular podcast with good timing? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Keep sipping that tea. So, is the Joe Rogan Experience really the most important show on Earth? If you're looking at fancy production or traditional prestige, then maybe not. But if you're looking at cultural impact, influence, and the power to shape conversations around the world, then it absolutely holds a unique place. It broke the rules. It challenged the old systems. And it proved that raw, unfiltered conversation still matters maybe more than ever. And that, T-Squad, is the real tea.